Buenas, galera, bem-vindo a mais um vídeo. Quem você fala aqui, Paloacha, e iniciei o vídeo faz 5 minutos e desculpa, mas vamos lá. Eu tô aqui tentando minerar esse último veio que sobrou. Parece que tá difícil aqui, bugou. Enquanto isso, vou minerando outros lugares que tem. Aumentando minha riqueza, né? Ah, tem. Acho que já entendi.
The calculating evil threw a frigid glance at its population limits. These were divided into little snots and creatures. As opposed to creatures, little snots did not have to be hired separately, but were always regenerated up to the maximum limit. And so it was that the massacring evil didn't have to worry if one of these miserable creatures died. It simply had to wait for the next one. At the same time, unfortunately, creatures were a little more demanding than the miserable little snots. A hideout would have to be researched before creatures such as goblins and orcs could be hired. As loyal as the little snots were, they were unable to fight and took to their heels in panicked flight at the first sight of an enemy. Sighing, the unscrupulous evil set about providing a hideout.
Só que eu não entendo porque eles não estão minerando isso aqui, cara, essa veia. Ah, quer saber que é rica, se fosse isso. Só pode ser rica aquela veia, por isso que eles não estão minerando. Agora eu entendo, agora eu compreendo. A gente vai conseguir os bichinhos. Eu não consegui nem ler o comentário do cara porque eu tava atrapalhado.
The army-craving evil had hired a creature which would from now on do its dirty work. However, each creature consumed a population point. Fortunately, these could be increased just like the number of workers. Should it become necessary to recover a population point, the maliciously grinning evil could always use the egress located at its dungeon heart. Simply toss the creature onto it, a little pull of the lever, and oh, whoops. Well, there it goes. These creatures were pretty spoiled. Not only did all creatures demand their own bunks, they also wanted something to eat. Otherwise, they would soon refuse to do any work whatsoever and go on strike. The deeply sighing evil had no other choice than to build his creatures a gobbler farm to satisfy their hunger.
Tem que satisfazer a fome também. Cara, é Dungeon Keeper, né? Só que estou chamando de Dungeon só, não sei porquê.
Excellent work. The gobbler farm was now ready. Later, the creatures would also demand other things, but for now, they were satisfied. The fast learning eagle had mastered the first tutorial with flying colors. Excellent work.
Ok. É isso, agora é a campanha.
Evil evilness. The fast learning evil quickly set about sending its creatures into the overworld.
Ó, F2 pega todas as criaturas.
The fast learning evil had begun the second tutorial. It now more or less knew what it had to do to build a dungeon. Now it would turn to the overworld, where it would sow chaos and destruction. Up there waited a Isle of Good, which just begged to be destroyed. The impatient evil got right down to destroying. Before the overworld could be destroyed, a number of creatures would first have to be brought there. The hand of terror greedily reached out to grab some.
Vou pegar 5 criaturas.
First, creatures ventured out into the overworld. The destruction-craving evil could hardly wait to transform all those unbearably rich colors into 50 shades of grey. The drooling evil did not have the omnipotence in the overworld it was used to in the dungeon. Here, it had to direct its creatures the old-fashioned way, with orders.
Tem um pouquinho de MOBA, pelo visto. Ó a musiquinha.
Ah, the Isle of Good had been destroyed. To the ground. This not only made for a more pleasant ambiance, but also produced some lovely evilness, which could be used for research. The researching evil quickly set about spending its evilness. The troop-hungry evil had increased its population limit and could from now on hire more creatures. A great decision. The fantastic evil had understood the basics of the overworld and the advantages of evilness in the blink of an eye. Not that those were difficult concepts, but hey, you take what you can get, so good work.
Uau!
Dungeons for advanced students. The skilled evil quickly learned the skills needed to run a dungeon very efficiently.
Então, gente, essa é o vídeo, tá? Daqui a pouquinho vem outro vídeo aí pra gente curtir o Dungeon Keeper 3, tá? muito obrigado aí que assistiu. E até daqui a pouco. Valeu, falou!